Did you know there is a major global city where you can sip the world's best coffee in an 1800s arcade in the morning and watch wild penguins swim ashore by sunset?
It sounds totally made up, right?
It really does. But today we are taking a deep dive into Melbourne, Australia. It was actually just officially named the best city of 2026.
Yeah, we've gone through a bunch of travel guides and urban planning research to figure out how they pull off these wild extremes.
Exactly. And since we want to keep things accessible and relaxed today, we'll take our time going through 10 must-see spots. We'll even unpack some useful travel vocabulary for you along the way.
I love that. And, looking at the sources, Melbourne isn't just one vibe. It's this deliberate tension between history, hypermodern art, and raw nature.
Right. So let's start with what fuels all that exploring. The research makes it clear you simply have to try the flat white.
Absolutely. The coffee culture there is just legendary.
But looking at a menu, why wouldn't I just order my usual latte? What's the difference?
Well, it all comes down to the microfoam. So instead of a thick, frothy head of foam like you'd get on a cappuccino, the barista steams the milk to make these tiny, tight bubbles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you end up with a really thin, velvety layer poured over intense espresso. It, fundamentally changes the texture. It makes it creamier and much smoother.
That sounds amazing. And with that smooth, flat white in hand, the guides suggest wandering through the 1800s Royal Arcade, which then suddenly spills out into Melbourne's famous Laneways.
The Laneways are iconic.
Yeah. But normally when I hear laneway, I just picture a dark, narrow back street, where a restaurant hides its trash.
Right, but Melbourne completely flipped that concept. They actually embraced those narrow alleys.
They really did, like Hosier Lane, for example. It's a dense, twisting alleyway that is just entirely covered in vibrant legal graffiti.
Yeah, it's constantly changing, too.
Exactly. It's like a free outdoor museum. The artists are literally painting over old work with new pieces every single day.
It's so dynamic.
But here is where I get a little stuck in the research. We have these tiny, pedestrian-only back streets, but then the wider city relies on this massive tram network.
The largest in the world, actually.
Right. And I thought most cities tore up their tram tracks back in the 1950s to make room for cars. Why does Melbourne boast such a huge network?
Well, it was a mix of stubborn local unions who refused to dismantle the tracks and the fact that the main streets were originally built incredibly wide.
So they had the physical space to keep them.
Exactly. And today, it is an unbelievable asset. There's even the historic green and gold City Circle tram that travels right through the center, and it's completely free.
Wait, totally free?
Yeah, completely free to ride.
That is so smart. And just to clarify for anyone listening, a tram is basically like a bus on tracks. Instead of getting stuck in traffic, these rail carriages just glide right down the middle of the street.
Right, and you can just hop on and ride straight to the Queen Victoria Market.
Oh, the Queen Victoria. It's been open since 1878. The sources say you can grab their famous hot donuts while you take in the history.
Hot donuts and history, you can't beat it. And speaking of history, if you want to feel incredibly small, you take that tram to the State Library Victoria.
Yes, to see the Trobe reading room. I was looking at the architectural photos in our notes.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
It is. Calling it beautiful just does not cut it. The word we have to use here is stunning.
Truly stunning.
Yeah, meaning it has a powerful impact, way more than just pretty. You walk under this giant 8-sided glass dome, and the sheer scale of it literally stops you in your tracks. You are stunned.
It's an incredible indoor space. And a great counterbalance to that grand architecture is taking a slow walk outside at sunset along the Yarra River's South Bank Promenade.
Oh, to see the city skyline reflecting on the water?
Exactly. It's a whole different energy.
Which actually brings us to my absolute favorite contrast. You go from those towering skyscrapers straight to the beach.
The Brighton bathing boxes.
Yes. There are 82 of these brightly colored, historic wooden beach houses lined up right on the sand. But honestly, the wildlife is what really caught me off guard.
Oh, you mean at the St. Kilda Pier?
Right. So it's just a short tram ride away, and at sunset, you can watch wild fairy penguins coming ashore. They are the smallest penguins in the world.
It's so unexpected for a huge city.
It is. How does a wild penguin colony even survive on the edge of a major metropolis with millions of people?
Well, it was actually a total accident of urban design. The city built this rock breakwater to protect boats.
Okay.
And those piled rocks accidentally created these perfect, predator-free crevices for the penguins to nest in.
That is amazing. The infrastructure built for humans just happened to provide a sanctuary for wildlife.
Yeah, it's a completely wild coincidence.
Wild penguins right after sipping world-class coffee. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So to wrap up our top 10, all our sources point to the Royal Botanic Gardens.
Which makes perfect sense after all that sensory overload, the graffiti, the history, the wildlife.
You really need a massive green oasis in the middle of the city to just wind down.
Exactly. To wind down, meaning to just relax and let your energy settle after a busy day.
Right, you let your heart rate drop, sit by a lake, and just slowly process everything.
It's the ultimate proof of Melbourne's design philosophy. Everything you could want is balanced, preserved, and just a short ride away.
It really makes you rethink what a city can be. So, here's a thought for you to chew on today. If you could design your own best city in the world, what would you prioritize? Vibrant modern art, deep historical architecture, or wild nature right on your doorstep?